Interview with Mr. Frank William. Agents Allen and Paranel present. Right, Mr. William? We can begin whenever you are ready. Okay. So where do you want me to start? When you were on the highway and began to get the feeling, I began to think, maybe you explain how you were feeling, your state of mind? Right? Well, the darkness outside had seemed to press in on me like a physical force. It seemed unnatural, the complete and utter absence of light. It's funny how we get used to the tiny beacons of life, the occasional glimmer that indicates a farmhouse, or the unwelcome glare of headlights racing by on the opposite lane. Proof that another living soul inhabited the night alongside us, but here there was nothing, just the oppressive blackness. Even the GPS on my phone had stopped working a while ago. Not that it made any difference. There was only the one road to drive. And at the back of my mind, I was starting to worry that I was lost. But like I just said, there had been the only one road. It seemed illogical to be concerned. After all, isolation was what I had been looking for. The whole reason I had set out on this trip was in the hope of clearing my head, to get away from the stress of the daily routine that was beginning to eat at my sanity. Yet as the night had worn, the feeling that I was being watched grew. But you saw no one, or anything? No, I tried to push the feeling aside, telling myself it was just my imagination playing tricks on me. But as the minutes ticked by, the sensation grew stronger. I could feel eyes on me, boring into my skin like a cold, calculating gaze. Then suddenly, the car lurched to the side, as if someone had torn the steering wheel out of my hands. I slammed on the brakes, my heart racing with fear. The car skidded to a stop, and I sat there for a moment, trying to catch my breath. You said you didn't hit anything or put a wheel into a pothole. Nah, nothing. Okay, go on. As I looked around, I noticed that the darkness outside seemed to be coalescing into a shape. A massive, saucer-shaped craft was hovering above the trees, its lights pulsing with an otherworldly energy. I felt a shiver run down my spine as I realized that I was face to face with an alien spacecraft. But prior to that, you hadn't seen the lights? No, they just suddenly appeared. I sat there, frozen in terror, as the ship hovered over the road. It was enormous, easily the size of a football field. In the headlight, its surface seemed to ripple and undulate like a living thing. I could feel the energy emanating from it, a strange, pulsating power that seemed to be calling to me, calling to you. Can you be more specific? It felt like it was calling me, not audibly, just like it knew it was me. Go on. As I sat there, transfixed by the sight, I felt a strange sensation. It was as if my mind was being expanded, my consciousness stretching to encompass new and wondrous ideas. I felt a sense of awe and wonder, as if I was being shown the secrets of the universe. Its lights were blinding and disorienting. I felt myself being pulled out of the car, and I stumbled backwards, tripping over my own feet. As I fell, I caught a glimpse of some strange beings, tall and imposing, with eyes that seemed to bore into my very soul. I felt myself being lifted off the ground, and I was drawn into the ship. The interior was unlike anything I had ever seen, a vast, cavernous space filled with strange and wondrous devices. I saw rows of alien beings, all of them staring at me with an unblinking gaze. I looked around and was astounded to realize I was not alone. There were others, humans, scattered throughout the ship. They seemed to be in a state of trance, their eyes glazed over as if they were under some kind of hypnosis. I felt a sense of panic rising up in me, and I struggled to break free from the alien's grasp. But it was too late. The being had me in its grip, and I was being pulled towards the heart of the ship. As I was dragged along, it came to me that they were collecting humans. I saw rows of humans, all of them staring blankly ahead, their eyes empty and unseeing. Then it struck me, they were collecting all the races of the planet. What you mean, it was some sort of alien zoological expedition. No worse than even that. They were examining, understanding the enemy. Once I realized that I knew that I had to escape to get back to the surface and warn the world about the alien threat. I looked around knowing I could end up like the others, at the mercy of the aliens. I felt a sense of despair wash over me. I was in a nightmare from which there was no escape. But you did. Yes, the alien holding was complacent, as if fear was enough to restrain me, so I slipped from its grasp and ran. You said you had been taken into the ship. How did you know where to run? I didn't, but I have an ability, skill you could say with directions. Even in such an extremely disorienting location? Left, right, straight ahead are the same wherever you are. Okay, then go ahead. What happened next? I made my way through the ship, its corridors, dodging and backtracking to evade my pursuers. I finally reached the exit, but as I pushed through the airlock, I felt a hand grab my ankle. I kicked out with my free foot, trying to shake off the alien, but it held tight. Just as I thought all was lost, I recognized the device the aliens had used to scan me. It was lying on a console, within arm's reach. I grabbed it, swinging it around like a club. The alien holding my ankle let out a high-pitched shriek as the device struck it. I took advantage of the distraction to yank my ankle free and make a break for the exit. I stumbled out into the night air, gasping for breath. I looked back up at the ship, expecting them to be following me, but saw that it was taking off, leaving a trail of debris and destruction in its wake. I knew I had to get as far away as possible, and as quickly as possible. I started running, my heart pounding in my chest. As I burst out of the ship, I felt a sense of freedom wash over me. I was back on the surface, the cool night air refreshing my skin. I looked up at the stars, and I knew that I had to warn the world about the alien threat. Okay, Mr. William, you have done that. I'll file the report. You don't believe me, do you? It's not up to me to believe or not, Mr. William. It's my job to take down what you claim you experienced. I'm not claiming anything. It actually happened. Yes, so you say. It's quite a story, Mr. William, but the problem is no one else saw what you did. No one heard or has found evidence to substantiate anything you have said, so it's going to have to remain just a story. Is that it? Yes, I'll be sure to let my superiors know. But you have to believe me. The world is in danger. They were the advance party of an alien invasion. If we are not ready, then we are lost.